The morning sun draped its golden fingers over Everddale's rooftops as the market came alive. Smoke curled from bakers' ovens. The butcher's stall displayed fresh cuts of venison, and vendors hawked colorful cloths, hand-carved trinkets, and brass lanterns. Children darted between stalls, laughing as they chased one another, while townsfolk bartered over prices amid the comforting clang of a nearby blacksmith's hammer. Unbeknownst to most, a deeper unease rippled beneath the cheerful facade. Rumors of strange creatures stalking the forest edge had grown too numerous to ignore. Whispers spoke of tangled tracks leading out of Blackwood Grove at dawn, of terrified farmers finding their livestock mauled in ways that defied explanation, and of a greenish glow tainting the night sky just past the tree line. On the outskirts of town, in a modest stone building, where the warm glow of coals spilled through louvered windows, Bren the blacksmith shaped steel with deliberate precision. His broad shoulders flexed with each strike. Though he had left the battlefield years ago, his arms remained thick with muscle, his hands calloused and sure. Yet it was his face that revealed the truth of his past. Silver-streaked hair fell to his collar, and a long scar etched itself from temple to jaw, each jagged line a testament to battles fought and friends lost. His dark eyes, usually focused on his craft, sometimes flickered to the worn helmet perched atop a high shell phone that bore the crest of Everddale, a kingdom he had served when war was still ravaging these lands. As Bren set aside his hammer, a gentle knock sounded at his workshop door. He wiped a rivulet of sweat from his brow and opened it to reveal a 10-year-old boy named Tomas, clutching a small wooden sword carved crudely by his own hand. "Sir Bren," Tomas began, voice trembling with awe. "My father says the sword you forged last winter saved the captain of the guard from a dire fate. Is that true?" Bren's gaze lingered on the boy's hopeful face. He forced a modest smile and said in a low voice, "Stories grow taller than mountains, lad. A blade is only as brave as the hand that wields it." He glanced past Tomas at the town's outskirts, dark shapes moving in the distance. Tomas's eyes widened. "They say," he gulped, lowering his voice to a whisper, "they say creatures with glowing eyes prowl just beyond Blackwood Grove. If that's true, they're coming this way." Bren's jaw tightened. Memories of trench warfare steel meeting steel beneath a storm-lashed sky flared behind his eyes. He closed the door gently. "Go home, child. The night is no place for you." But as Tomas scampered away, Bren could not ignore the chill crawling up his spine. Meanwhile, in the castle's tallest tower, Princess Mera stood at the window overlooking the town. At 29, her auburn hair braided loosely behind her, she radiated both regality and compassion. She watched Tomas slip beside Bren's workshop, then dart back toward the market, worry creasing her brow. Mera's responsibilities had always felt heavy. She was heir to a peaceful kingdom, yet peace had become fragile. Reports of beastly attacks, crops destroyed, and travelers gone missing weighed upon her like a physical burden. Determined, she descended the spiral staircase to the courtyard, where 2 guards awaited her. "Lady Mera," Guard Captain Rowan intoned, bowing his head. The night watch reported strange howls near the western palisade. Farmers say they saw 2 glowing red eyes amongst the trees. Mera's hands curled into fists at her sides. "Organize a scouting party at first light. I will accompany them." Rowan hesitated. "Your Highness, I will not hesitate to draw my sword if need be," Mera interrupted firmly. Her eyes softened for a moment as she glanced up at the castle's banners flapping in the wind. "This kingdom depends on more than just soldiers. It depends on courage from every heart." At the market, dusk settled like a cloak. Lanterns flickered to life, and families hurried home. The tavern's door swung closed, laughter spilling forth through the smoky haze. Bren stoked the forge coals, feeling the familiar heat calm him. Yet his mind churned with uncertainty. He had buried his soldier's past to embrace this quieter life, believing that hammer and anvil were all he needed now, until rumors of looming darkness forced him to question that choice. Late that evening, a pale moon illuminated the forest beyond Everddale's walls. Cries of alarm echoed as townsfolk scrambled to secure their homes. From the castle's ramparts, Mera saw a massive silhouette advancing down the main thoroughfare, a hulking beast the size of a warhorse, its fur as black as midnight, and its eyes a smoldering ember. Beneath its breath, tendrils of sickly green mist curled around its muzzle. Panic swept through the streets as it swept aside carts, its claws splintering oak and stone. Inside the forge, Bren felt the tremor of boots pounding on the wooden floor. Princess Mera's footsteps, resolute despite the chaos outside. She pushed open the door, her gown swirling like a cascade of waves. "Bren," she said, eyes brimming with urgency. "I need your help. We cannot stand against this alone." Bren withdrew his gaze from the hearth's flames. "You seek a champion who no longer wields a sword, princess," he murmured, voice rough as steel. Mera took a step forward. "I seek a blacksmith whose blades glow with a power I cannot understand, who I believe could save us all. You have the skill. You have the knowledge to craft weapons that might cut through this terror. I ask you not to fight alone, but to stand with your people once more." He studied her, seeing not only royal bearing, but compassion in her Gazean understanding that extended beyond rank. He swallowed hard, memories of fallen comrades clashing with the possibility of purpose renewed. Finally, Bren's shoulders squared. "Where is this beast?" Mera exhaled in relief and pointed to the forge window. Outside, the creature reared, jaws opening in a silent roar. Moments later, under the moonlit sky, Bren labored at the anvil. Sparks flew as he hammered molten steel into shape. Unlike any ordinary blade, this one pulsed with a pale blue light, runic symbols etched into its edge. He immersed it in a basin of glimmering water springs from a hidden mountain grotto known for their magical properties. Steam hissed, a thin mist curling around his booted feet. A flash of lightning illuminated the darkened workshop when Mera's voice drifted in. "I have gathered every able-bodied townsman. They wait in the square, armed with pitchforks and torches. Once you have finished the blade, lead them to me." Bren wiped sweat from his brow, his face lined with concentration. "I have only one sword's worth of magic to give," he muttered. "After tonight, I will return to quiet work." Mera laid a gentle hand on his arm. Purpose given is never tempered by regret. In the square, townsfolk stood clustered beneath flickering torches. Among them, a dozen guards held their spears at the ready. Mera stood on a low platform, her red-gray gown billowing in the cold breeze. Her eyes scanned the faces of her people, drawing courage from their fear-laced determination. When Bren emerged from the forge blade in hand, its surface aglow, they fell silent. The monster lumbered forward, its massive hooves cracking cobblestones like brittle ice. Mera raised her voice. "Hold fast! Light your torches! Ignite your resolve!" A roar tore through the night as the beast lunged. Its claws raked the ground, sending townspeople stumbling backward. Bren's enchanted sword flared, casting silver-blue beams across the square. He met the beast head-on, sidestepping a swipe of its massive paw. The blade's runes sparked on impact, unleashing a shockwave of light that staggered the creature. Townsmen advanced, brandishing torches and pitchforks. Guided by Mera's calls, "Stand your ground! Protect one another!" They pressed forward, each torch wielding farmer a beacon against encroaching gloom. Small shadow creatures emerged behind the beast, snarling as they tried to flank the defenders. Mera, spear in hand, drove them back with swift, precise strikes. Mera, the brave princess, stayed with her people and was never shy of fighting. She motivated her subjects to fight for their cause. Bren kept his focus on the beast. It howled, a sound that rattled windows and shook hearts. It lunged again, its mouth opening wide fangs dripping of viscous black ichor. He ducked, twisting his blade in its mouth and struck upward. The enchanted steel burned through shadow, carving a deep gash along the creature's neck. The beast roared, a deafening sound. The beast started to burn with its wounds. Bren slowly started to walk away. His sword has done its job. All will be left of this beast will be ashes and dust. In a final, defiant gesture, the beast charged. Bren turned back, drawing every ounce of strength from his arms, and plunged the sword again into the chest of the beast. Finally, the beast was lying on its side. Bren was brave and defiant. There was a sudden calm to this chaotic night, but was shattered with the cheers of the villagers. The beast became ashes and vanished into the darkness like smoke. The village erupted with a joyous celebration. Women, men, children, all gathered around Bren. At dawn, Everddale stirred once more, beneath a pink-tinged sky. Smoke rose from chimneys, and the marketplace reopened, as if the previous night's horrors were no more than a haunting dream. Flowers appeared at the forge's doorstep, laid by grateful hands. Bren stood at his anvil, forging a simple sword for Captain Roanoke without magic runes, but forged with the same resolve that had felled the beast. Princess Mera approached quietly, her cloak trailing behind her. She watched Bren work, his posture now more upright, his burden lifted. For the first time in his new life, he did not look haunted. Instead, he looked resolute. "You did more than protect us," Mera said softly. "You reminded us all of why we fight for home, for family, and for one another." She offered Bren a gentle smile. Bren paused, wiping sweat from his brow. He lifted a leather-wrapped scabbard, sliding the newly finished blade into place. Looking into Mera's eyes, he said quietly, "I forged that blade last night to hold back darkness, but it was humility that lit the fire in my heart again. As long as Everddale stands, so shall I stand with it." Mera reached out, brushing a lock of silver hair from his forehead. "Your purpose is never done, Bren, and so long as you wield these blades, we will stand beside you." As sunlight washed over the forge, Bren allowed himself a fleeting smile. Though his scars remained, they no longer defined him. In their place burned a renewed sense of purpose. The blacksmith of Iron Valiance, a war hero eager to hide from his past, had reclaimed his destiny. And now, forging swords and hope in equal measure, he would guard the kingdom with every blow of his hammer, every tip of his blade, and every beat of his heart.